Week 11 must sits. These players are about to tank your lineup, so don't have them in there. But before I let you know who, welcome to the playlist. Thank you for kicking it. I am Jimsy, and this is Fantasy on Repeat. And again, I apologize. I was a little sick, but I'm coming back. We're going to do it. We're going to do the damn thing, and we are here. And let's go ahead and fill up these lineups. Filling in these must sits has been very difficult. I've been not hitting on them too well. I've been trying to go like against the grain. I'm going to try to keep it very simple here, and let's just get into it. My must sit for the quarterback position is going to be Sam Darnold. And he's a must sit this week because of the matchup. He's playing against the Los Angeles Rams, and that defense, they have been dominant all season. They're holding quarterbacks to the 5th fewest fantasy points, and that's not fun for fantasy football. And next, the pressure kills because the Rams ranked 9th in pressure rate, and Darnold's passer rating drops under stress, and he's thrown 3 straight interceptions. Rams tie 5th for the most turnovers in the league, and that's trouble. And then the low passing volume. And Seattle might lean on the run. They got Kenneth Walker, they got Sharps, and they got the other guy who looks just like Sharps, who's throwing off all the announcers. So they might lean on the run even more if the Seattle's defense can't come in clutch for this game. Sam Darnold has attempted 17 or fewer passes in 3 of the last 4 games. Even if the matchup was easier, his ceiling is capped. And now the matchup, man. The history versus the Rams. In 2024, the NFC wild card, he was sacked 9 times, and that's not a good look. Since week 7, he's averaging 14.6 fantasy points per game. That's outside the top 20 quarterbacks. It's not starter material this week, even though he has JSN, who's having a historical run. I don't know if it's just me, but I always thought having the attachment of the stack or even having JSN would correlate to having Sam Darnold as an elite option, but that's just not how it works apparently. And the season number so far, he has 2,262 passing yards, 17 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 116.5 QB rating. That's 16.5 fantasy points per game. And it is a tough spot. The matchup, the pressure, low volume, all bad signs. So Sam Darnold is a must sit for me in week 11. Bench him and avoid the risk. Now going into my must-sit running backs, I'm going to talk about Tony Pollard. He has a diminished role, man. Since week 5, Tyjae Spears has taken over. He's getting most of the snaps and big chunk of the touches. Pollard's role is shrinking fast. I thought he was going to get traded, but nothing happened, man. And this is an ineffective offense. The Titans are one of the least productive teams. They're averaging 14.4 points per game. That limits his touchdowns and the scoring chances for everybody. I talked about this in my must-starts if you want to go check that out. But it's just going to be a tough matchup because they're playing against the Houston Texans defense, and they're the 9th best versus running backs. In week 4, Pollard ran 64 yards on 14 carries, and the Titans were shut out. Now the negative game script, if Tennessee falls behind, they'll be forced to pass, and that's where Tyjae Spears comes in because he is a pass-catching back. This is going to further cap Pollard's value, and since week 5, he has 0 touchdowns. He is averaging under 10 fantasy points per game, and the season numbers so far, he has 480 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns, and 19 receptions, 143 receiving yards, 9.9 fantasy points per game. He has a shrinking role. It's a tough matchup. It's a limited offense. Tony Pollard is a must-sit week 11. Bench him. Avoid the tank. We want fantasy points. I don't see Tony Pollard getting you a lot of points this week, yo. And the next must-sit running back is going to be T-TRACY. He's a must-sit this week, and here's why. It's a difficult matchup. He's facing the Green Bay Packers, and their run defense has been excellent all season. 6 fewest fantasy points allowed to running backs, and that's not an easy setup. Next, the committee backfield. Tracy is sharing snaps with Devin Singletary. Both of them are waiver wire pickups, but I apologize because they aren't doing much. But, hey, Devin Singletary's been coming up lately. Week 10 looked like it was positive. He had 15 touches compared to Singletary's 11. Unpredictable usage, and it hurts fantasy value. And then the offense is struggling. The Giants' offense is one of the worst in the NFL. And now they're switching to Jameis Winston, who I believe can elevate. I think he can elevate the passing game. I'm not quite sure about the running backs here. It's going to be low scoring, and the efficiency limits all the skill players. And they just fired their head coach midseason, and that's just instability left and right. It's just going to add risk. And the quarterback change also hurts. Like I said, Jackson Dart is out. Jameis Winston is in. It's unpredictable QB play, and it can reduce the run volume even more and overall production. Low fantasy output reinforces this. Again, in week 10, he had 29% touch share and only 8.1 fantasy points, and that's not enough return for the usage. And one thing about T-TRACY, since week 5, he has only 1 game over 10 fantasy points and no touchdown since week 8. This season so far, he has 248 rushing yards, 1 touchdown. 14 receptions, 87 receiving yards, and 6.7 fantasy points per game. It's a tough matchup. It's a committee. They're going to do the hot hand take. We don't know if he's going to have the hot hand. It's an unstable offense. T-TRACY is a must-sit for week 11. He's the best bench warmer we can have this week. If he can pop off, that's cool. I don't see it happening this week, though. Now going to my must-sit wide receivers, we're going to talk about MCMILLAN. Let's talk about it. He's a must-sit, and here's why. The inefficient offense. The Panthers offense is struggling. Bryce Young leads a low production passing game. McMillan has been under 50 yards in 3 of his last 5 games. The volume doesn't equal points here. And next up, the inconsistent quarterback play. Bryce Young has been off. His deep balls, his targets aren't consistent, and the upside is capped. Even with McMillan's high target share, it's not paying off. And then now the tough matchup. He's going to be facing the Atlanta Falcons pass defense, and AJ Terrell is going to be covering. Week 3, McMillan had 3 catches for 48 yards and 7.8 fantasy points. History repeats itself, and like I said, the stats before, it's going to tell the story. So far this season for McMillan, man, he has 46 receptions, 618 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. He's averaging 12 fantasy points per game. In the end, for Ted McMillan, though, it's a tough matchup. Bad QB. It's low upside. He is a must-sit. I'm not going to have him in my lineup. Let me know if you are. All right, now going to my next must-sit wide receiver. We're going to talk about DK Metcalf. And here's a must-sit because the chemistry hasn't been popping off, man. Metcalf and Aaron Rodgers is supposed to be a match made in heaven, and they haven't been on the same page. He does have high target share, but multiple missed opportunities. A long touchdown that was left on the field. Metcalf's fantasy output has dropped last 3 games, 2 of them 7 points or fewer. It's a lower floor than his name suggests. The high bust potential, big play dependent, quarterback play inconsistent. He can flop any week. It's a tough matchup. Week 7 match insight. The Bengals corner DJ Turner shadowed him. 78.1% of the routes covered. Result, 2 receptions, 45 yards, and scoreless. The inefficient offense also hurts. The Steelers' passing game has been stagnant. That adds to the inconsistency, and that lowers his ceiling. Again, when he played the Bengals in Week 7, that was a season low against that opponent, and the numbers so far, that he has 32 receptions, 502 receiving yards, 5 touchdowns, averaging 12.5 fantasy points per game. So right now, he has poor chemistry. It's a tough matchup. Declining output. DK Metcalf is a must-sit. I am not trusting him, but I'm not giving up on him. I feel like down the stretch, he could pop off later. Just a heads up. Just letting you know. Now, my must-sit for the flex position, where I can go any position I want. Running back, wide receiver, tight end. I'm going to go with Keenan Allen, man. My boy. The thing about Keenan Allen, he has declining usage. His routes and targets have dropped. The last 3 games, not even over 60% on route participation and just 5 targets per game. The volume is down, and now the offense stagnation. The Chargers offense has been inconsistent. Allen has struggled to produce no more than 44 receiving yards in each of his last 3 games, and then a tough matchup. He faces the Jacksonville Jaguars. That's a solid defense. They limit passing yards, and they're going to make fantasy life even harder. His high bust potential here, his declining usage plus a stagnant offense is a high risk for poor performance. And if you need a reminder too, Week 10 against the Steelers, Allen had 2 receptions for 19 yards, a season low and a clear decline. And his numbers so far, 52 receptions, 539 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns, averaging 13 fantasy points per game. Again, it's a tough matchup, low usage, stagnant offense. Keenan Allen's a must-sit. He hasn't been that guy that we thought he was, man. All right, now going to my must-sit defense. I'm going to go with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And they're a must-sit this week because they're playing against an elite offense. The matchup is going to be crazy. They're going to be facing the Buffalo Bills. And this is one of the best offenses in the NFL. Although Josh Allen did flop last week, and I am thankful for that because it made me win my week. Yeah, let's go. But I don't think that Josh Allen's going to flop twice because you have to think, man, they are balanced. They are versatile, and they are explosive. And now Josh Allen, he's almost blitz-proof. Buccaneers love pressure, high blitz, pressure rates, but Allen can beat that easily. Week 10, he did have a couple of turnovers, but he showed elite athleticism and arm strength. And now, exploitable defense, secondary struggles under pressure. They give up the 5th highest completion rate and 6th highest passer rating when blitzing. The Bills are also strong at home, 34.3 points per game on home turf, and the second fewest turnovers at home. That's elite. That's going to be tough to overcome. And a few things about the Buccaneers defense. Their pass efficiency is 25th in the NFL, 6th highest passer rating allowed, 5th highest completion rate while blitzing. And the season numbers so far, they allowed 21.9 points allowed per game, 23 sacks, 8 interceptions, 2 fumble recoveries, 0 defensive touchdowns. In the end, they're going against an elite offense. QB beats the blitz, exploitable secondary. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers DST is a must-sit, especially against Josh Allen, man. The unicorn, he's not going to flop twice. All right, y'all. Week 11, those were my must-sits. Again, they're going to tank this week. If you have them, I apologize. But if I'm wrong, let me know why as well. I'm always down to chop it up. And yeah, that's it. If you like this breakdown for my must-sits, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Come kick it with the playlist. Let's do our thing. If you need more recommendations, I'm going to have my mustache coming out next. I'm going to try to do better in those videos and all the other videos. But as always, I appreciate y'all for kicking it, man. Fantasy on repeat. Jimsy is out. Peace.